Lonely elderly woman invites a homeless man into her home, and what happens next leaves everyone speechless. Louise, an 85-year-old widow, lived alone in a modest house on the outskirts of a large city. The walls of her small home were silent witnesses to decades of memories. Yellowed photographs adorned the antique furniture, displaying a life full of precious moments with her beloved husband, Henry, who had passed away over 20 years ago. Louise and Henry had shared a deep and sincere love story. Together, they had weathered highs and lows, creating a home filled with love and laughter. Henry was a man of faith, always optimistic and encouraging, qualities that had helped Louise find strength during the toughest times. When Henry died, a part of Louise went with him, leaving her with a constant sadness in her heart. Every morning, Louise began her day with a silent prayer, asking for strength to face another day. "God, give me strength to carry on," she whispered, her eyes closed, feeling Henry's presence in her heart. "Henry, I miss you so much. I still feel your hand holding mine. How I wish you were here." Louise had grown accustomed to Henry's absence, but the pain had never fully disappeared. She found solace in her unwavering faith and her generosity toward others. She was known for her dedication to the activities of the local church, where she spent much of her time, offering a comforting shoulder or a word of comfort to those in need. "Today will be a good day," she murmured to herself as she made the bed. "I need to carry on, for myself and for Henry. He would want me to move forward, helping others as we always did together." Louise had a spiritual routine that was her anchor, keeping her steady even through the most intense emotional storms. After breakfast, she would head to the small altar she had set up in a corner of the living room, where a portrait of Henry held a place of honor. She lit a candle and prayed. "Henry, continue to guide me. I still need your light." Louise's afternoons were often spent at the church, where she actively participated in masses and events. She enjoyed helping in the kitchen, preparing meals for those in need. "Henry, you would be proud of me. I'm trying to make a difference, just as we always did together." But as night fell and the house became silent, the loneliness became deafening. Sitting in her rocking chair, with a cup of tea in her hands, Louise reminisced about the happy times she had shared with Henry. "Remember when we danced in the living room, Henry? How wonderful it felt to have your arms around me." The memories brought a mix of comfort and sadness, filling the void left by the loss. Keeping her home immaculate was a way to find peace amidst the solitude. Every corner carefully cleaned and organized reflected her dedication and the desire to keep the memories of the past alive. "Everything is in its place, Henry. I know how you like to see everything tidy." Louise often talked to herself, as if Henry were still by her side. "Today I saw a young woman at church who reminded me of when we were young. She had the same sparkle in her eyes that you did. I missed our adventures." On Sundays, Louise prepared herself with special care for Mass. It was the day she felt most connected to the community, surrounded by people who, like her, sought a greater purpose in faith. "Today, I will pray for you, Henry, and for myself too, so that I may have the strength to continue." However, upon returning home, the sense of emptiness intensified. Loneliness was a constant companion, and Louise needed to find strength within herself not to succumb to it. "I'll be all right, Henry. You always believed in me, and I will continue to believe as well." Louise closed her eyes for a moment, feeling the tears well up. "I love you, Henry, and I always will. I will continue living for both of us." Louise maintained a meticulously structured routine, where faith and church activities played central roles. After Henry's death, the church became her refuge, a place where she could feel connected to both the community and her late husband. It was there that she found comfort and purpose, dedicating herself to helping others in the best way possible. "Today is another day, Henry," she murmured to herself while lighting a candle at the small altar in her home. "I'm going to church to help prepare for the Mass. I know you would be proud of me." Louise was a constant presence at the local church. Sunday mornings were especially significant, starting early with the preparation of breakfast for the community's most needy members. She joined a group of volunteers, all united by the desire to do good. "Good morning, Louise," greeted Mary, a friend and fellow volunteer, with a warm smile. "How are you today?" "Good morning, Mary. I'm well, thank God. And you?" replied Louise, her soft voice reflecting her inner serenity. As they organized the tables and prepared the meals, Louise felt a deep connection with Henry. He had always been a generous man, willing to help anyone in need. "Henry, you would be here with me, serving coffee and bread, smiling at every face that came through the door," she thought as she distributed food. During the Masses, Louise found moments of true peace. Sitting in the church pew, she felt close to God and Henry. The pastor's words resonated in her heart, bringing solace and hope. "Lord, thank you for another day. Thank you for this community that welcomes me and gives me strength to continue." Pastor John often praised Louise in his sermons, using her as an example of faith and dedication. "Louise is a light in our community," he would say with a smile. "Her kindness and faith are inspirations to us all." Louise blushed slightly, feeling humble amid the praise. "I'm just doing what is right," she thought. "Henry, you taught me the importance of helping others. I continue because I know it's what you would want me to do." One afternoon, after a church event, Louise was called into the pastor's office. "Louise, I wanted to thank you personally for everything you do. Your dedication is impressive." "Thank you, Pastor John," she responded, moved. "The church is my second home. I feel that here I can honor Henry's memory and continue our work together." The pastor smiled, placing a hand gently on her shoulder. "Know that everyone here greatly values what you do. Your faith is an example for us all." Leaving the pastor's office, Louise encountered Mary again. "Louise, have you ever thought about leading a support group for widows? Your experience and faith could help many women going through what you've experienced." Louise considered the proposal, touched. "Perhaps it's a good idea, Mary. If I can help someone find the peace I have found, it would be a great gift." Mary's suggestion planted a seed in Louise's heart. She began to consider leading a support group, using her own journey of faith and overcoming to inspire other women. "Henry, I feel I'm on the right path. Thank you for continuing to guide me," she whispered, looking up at the sky. However, what she couldn't imagine was that life was about to bring her a surprise. Louise's faith was not just a religious practice, but a vital force that kept her connected to the past, present, and future. Her dedication to the church and community was an extension of the love she had always felt for Henry, a love that continued to guide her every day. On a cold winter morning, Louise woke to the sound of the wind howling outside. She got out of bed, wrapped herself in her wool shawl, and went to the kitchen to prepare her morning tea. Opening the door to fetch the newspaper, she found a young homeless man sleeping at her doorstep. He was visibly worn out, shivering from cold and hunger. Louise was surprised and moved by the sight. Without hesitation, she decided to help him. "Come in, my son, warm yourself," she said with a soft and welcoming voice. The young man, whose name was Eddie, was hesitant and suspicious, but the need for shelter and food prevailed. He entered the house hesitantly, feeling out of place in such a warm and safe environment. "What is your name?" asked Louise as she prepared a hot cup of tea. "Eddie," he replied, his voice hoarse and shaky. Louise offered him the cup of tea and some soup she had made the night before. "Here, this will warm you up," she said with a welcoming smile.